Okay, so what we're gonna learn about today is drugs. Okay, the first section we're gonna learn about is drugs, and then we'll go from there. But so we're gonna talk about drug abuse. And so when I say drugs, I bet everyone thinks of marijuana and stuff like that. But drug abuse can also be the drugs we use to like stuff like that. Things that we normally use every day.
Yes.
As well. So let's get started by reading. I want to see where we're at right now. Where drugs, are they good or bad? Okay. So let's get started reading. It says a drug is a substance. Actually, before we do that, I want us to go to
Hey, ¿por qué no?
see.
I'm coming. I was thinking what. Oh my. I was thinking what the Bible class, so I'm gonna bring my Bible and science.
Okay. I don't know why it's taking a while to load. I want us to look at the section review last. I'm sorry, the section review first, and then we're going to.
Why?
Oh my God,
Good, right?
this is disgusting.
Yes.
All right. So these are a section review. We're gonna read these questions and be looking for them. Okay? So question number
What
one.
does
What does OTC
OTC
stand for?
stand for?
So looking for that, it says what group of drugs includes substances from the opium family? So we're looking for that. And then which hallucinogen is the most prevalent illegal drug in the United States? What are 3 commonly abused stimulants? What substance coats a smoker's lungs when he smokes a cigarette? Name 3 types of depressants. What organ does alcohol most noticeably affect? What group of drugs are breathed in through the nose and not through the vapor? And who will help you stay away from harmful drugs? Okay? So we're gonna go back to looking for those answers. All right. Was that your sister? Loading.
Oh my God.
Why is it taking
Borracho. Alguien está hablando.
Nino.
Why it's taking so long to load?
Oh my God. Is your sister Caleb?
What? What I'm doing?
Here's
Is your sister right, Caleb?
Yes, yes.
just close the door.
Oh.
You don't know that I am not in my room, right?
Yes, you already know.
I'm saying to Joseph Xavier.
Oh my gosh.
This is bored. I want to have vacation.
Don't start with me.
I think I hate vacation.
You hate vacation.
Me too.
I love vacations.
But it's bored. Boring.
Yeah, I'm getting crazy.
A lot of more. I will almost destroy my house today. I went crazy.
Okay, we cannot continue the class because I hear noises.
Continue the class. Because
This is bored.
You are. Ah.
all right, let's get started. So I'm gonna show you my screen so we can follow along with this. Okay, we are learning about drug abuse. Are they good or bad? Okay, a drug is a substance other than food or water taken into the body that causes changes in the body. Many pain-relieving drugs like aspirin or acetaminophen are considered over-the-counter drugs, or OTC. So, over-the-counter drugs is what OTC stands for. So, paying attention, that's the answer to number 1. So mark that down or note what that means, okay? Because they can be purchased without a prescription. Stronger pain relievers have to be prescribed by a doctor. Other types of drugs are used medically to prevent or fight infectious diseases or to correct abnormal body function. Although drugs can be very beneficial to those who are ill or suffering, they are harmful or even fatal if misused. They can be used for medical purposes without following directions. Or abused, which means they're intentionally used for non-medical purposes. So, if you ever have to take some sort of medicine, or they call them drugs, medicine, you want to make sure you're using the right amount. Otherwise, you can have a lot of damage.
Medicine is like a drug.
Okay.
Okay, the effects.
Cocaine.
When misused or abused, many drugs can cause tolerance and dependence. Drug tolerance occurs when a drug user's body becomes accustomed to the drug and requires increased doses to produce the same effect. A drug user's body can also develop physical and mental drug dependence, in which his body requires the drug in order to function correctly. Dependence is often called addiction. If a drug addict stops taking the drug, he will go through withdrawal, a painful and sometimes deadly sickness that occurs when a dependence causing drug is no longer taken. So if you take the drug for so long, and you stop taking it like that, it could make you sick. So a lot of times doctors will tell you how to stop taking a drug if you're going to take it for a long time, or they'll just say use it for a certain amount of time because you don't want to depend on it. You don't want to have to take it when you don't need it. And there's a lot of people who actually have to do that. I'm gonna skip that page right there. Medications. We're gonna move on to the next page. Go away. Okay, commonly abused drugs. So we're gonna learn about drugs that are commonly abused. Scientists categorize commonly abused drugs into 4 groups: opioids, hallucinogens, stimulants, and depressants based on the nervous system. Another group of commonly abused substance, the inhalants, do not fit well in any of these groups, but most strongly resemble depressants. Opioids. Opioids are drugs derived from the opium poppy plant and similar synthetic or artificial drugs. So opioids is the second section review. So the group of drugs that include substances from the opium poppy plant are opioids, which is right here. So it's opioids for number 2. Mark that down, all right? In medicine, opioids are also called narcotics, but in common use, narcotic refers to any illegal drug. So you hear people say narcotics, it revolves around illegal drugs, or narcos, same thing. These drugs cause drowsiness and often give the user a brief feeling of well-being, commonly called a high. Because they can relieve pain, some opioids include morphine and codeine are used for medicinal purposes under a doctor's prescription. Another opioid, or heroin, is completely illegal in the United States because it is extremely addictive. So if you take it once, it'd be so fast for you to be addicted again. So tolerance. Tolerance to heroin builds rapidly. As the required dosage grows, the drug abusers may turn to crime to pay for his illegal drugs. Eventually, a large enough dose of heroin could stop the addict's respiratory system and kill him. So with opioids, it's very dangerous because you could be taking these things because you're trying to feel something different. You're trying to feel happy, feel something good. And what you're going to do is eventually you're going to not feel something. So if I just drink a little bit or take a little bit of that drug, then I'm not really gonna feel something. So I'm gonna need to take more. And that's how it's gonna be. You're gonna have to grow and take more and more and more to the point where you just take so much that your body dies because you killed yourself, which is scary. And the scary thing about a lot of drugs is that when you take drugs for so long, you lose your ability to feel happiness. That feeling, that the drug, that chemical in your brain that lets you feel happiness goes away. So you no longer can feel happiness. So that's why you don't want to use drugs, because it ruins your life. Okay? Hallucinogens. Hallucinogens are affect the senses and lead to hallucination. Seeing, hearing, smelling, feeling things that do not exist. Marijuana, the most prevalent illegal drug in the United States, is a hallucinogen. Marijuana has become a serious problem in the United States. Millions of Americans use it regularly, and large numbers of high school students are trying and using the drug. This drug weakens both physical and mental wreaks havoc, which means it does bad things to your physical and mental on the body. Marijuana users become clumsy, have an increased heart rate, lose judgment, and experience vision changes. They also have mental difficulties such as short-term memory loss, decreased reading and mathematics skills, and reduced thinking ability. Students who abuse marijuana often have trouble doing well in school and maintaining friendships. Marijuana contains 50 or 70% more cancer-causing chemicals than tobacco. So smoking marijuana can kill you. A lot of people say, oh, it's fun, it's good. No, it can kill you still. Then we have stimulants. The third group of commonly abused drugs are the stimulants speed up the body's nervous system, causing the lungs to work faster, the heart rate and blood pressure to rise, and the body to feel more energetic and alert. Caffeine, which is a substance naturally found in coffee and tea and added to most soft drinks, is a mild legal stimulant. Commonly abused stimulants include cocaine, methamphetamine, and nicotine. The younger an abuser is, the greater the risk of dying from a heart attack or stroke, even after trying a stimulant drug only once. So for your age, if you want to try one of these stimulant drugs, you could definitely die because it's very strong and you never want to try anything like this. Okay, the most powerful natural stimulant is a white powdered drug that is illegal in the United States and most other countries except for a few limited medical uses. This drug is abused on all levels of society. Cocaine attacks the mind and body, causing the user to lose touch with reality and have possible fatal irregular heartbeats. Many cocaine addicts scratch their skin raw because of coke bugs, a hallucination that insects are crawling underneath their skin. Imagine that, okay? You take a drug, it makes you think that there's bugs crawling in your skin. Does that sound fun? No? Anybody want to do that? I wouldn't want to do that.
No.
Body.
Not at all. That sounds scary. Okay, cocaine addicts who run out of the drug or try to quit experience
Never
extreme
in my life.
withdrawal symptoms. Crack is an impure form of cocaine that is even more powerful than pure cocaine. Crack has the same dangers as regular cocaine, but is also increases damage to the lung. So you never want to do any of that. All right. So this is what the cocaine leaf looks like right here. This is what marijuana leaf looks like. Let's move on to methamphetamine, another stimulant. Methamphetamine is commonly abused stimulant that causes severe effects on the nervous, cardiovascular, and respiratory systems. Some of its effects are similar to cocaine. However, methamphetamine acts faster and remains in the body longer than cocaine. Methamphetamine increases the user's breathing rate and causes his heart to beat rapidly and irregularly. Regular abusers of this highly addictive drug often become violent and moody and can experience hallucinations. Methamphetamine is occasionally prescribed for certain medical conditions. However, its use without a doctor's prescription is illegal in the United States. Has anyone ever heard of these drugs before? You never heard of these drugs before?
Of what?
Just medicine. Just
Um,
medicine.
Cocaine,
Medicine is a drug.
amphetamine, crack.
Yes.
You've heard of them before?
Last year.
Okay, let's keep reading. Nicotine. Nicotine is a very big one because it's in cigarettes. It's commonly abused stimulant found in tobacco products, including cigarettes, snuff, and chewing tobacco. Nicotine affects the nervous and cardiovascular systems, leading to headaches, irritability, weakened senses of taste and smell, increased blood pressure, and unhealthy stress on the heart. Nicotine abuse is not the only consequence of tobacco products. When tobacco burns, as in a lit cigarette, a thick brown sticky substance called tar is produced. Tar coats the lungs. As the smoker inhales. So that's one of the section review questions. Tar coats the lungs as the smoker inhales. So it's a sticky brown substance called tar. Okay? So let's do this.
Oh no! Oh
Good.
my god!
That looks pretty, right? This right here is what your lung looks like, okay, on the inside. But when you
Oh my god! that
I'm coming
looks
later.
horrible.
this is what it looks like. You
Oh
smoke,
my
it looks
god!
like that. So you don't want to smoke. Okay, let's keep reading. Because of the tar, a smoker's lungs turn from a healthy pink to a gray or black color. Over time, tar also prevents the lungs from functioning correctly. Secondhand smoke, or smoke breathed when another person is smoking. So secondhand
Oh
smoke,
my.
say I'm smoking a cigarette next to Joseph, and Joseph is inhaling the smoke that I'm breathing out. That's called secondhand smoke. It will also damage a person's lungs, even though he is not a smoker himself.
Hey,
Even
that's
if,
so nice.
I'm not saying that you do. Even a small
Obviously, that will not gonna be nice.
immediate effects on the cardiovascular system. Eventually, smoking or consistently being around a smoker can cause cancer of the lungs and throat, chronic bronchitis, and emphysema, which is a disease in which the lungs alveoli collapse, making breathing extremely difficult. So even though you don't smoke, if you're next to someone who does, you can still have your lungs be affected. You can still be affected by smoking. We have depressants now. Depressants are drugs that slow body function. Although they have medical uses, most depressants are legal only when prescribed by a physician or doctor. Because they produce a dreamy, floating feeling, people trying to escape their problems will often buy depressants illegally. Drug addiction to depressants occurs very rapidly. Tranquilizers like benzodiazepine or barbiturates are both depressants. Barbiturate. The most commonly abused depressant is alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant, which has had a devastating effect upon America and other countries. Over 30% of the deaths that occur in traffic accidents in America are the results of people driving under the influence of alcohol. So this right here is a picture of a car accident from someone who was driving because of alcohol. Look at how bad that car is.
Yeah.
You don't want to drunk drive. You're gonna be drunk.
No.
Probably this
That's
car.
destroyed.
Car was having
Completely
dollars and
destroyed.
some, but this
That looks
alcoholic guy.
horrible.
It's awful. So thousands of other deaths occur when
Obviously.
household accidents, crimes, and diseases that have been linked to alcohol. These deaths, along with hundreds of thousands of serious injuries, all result from alcohol's effect upon all parts of the body. Alcohol's
Whoa.
effects on the brain are most noticeable. So where are alcohol's effects most noticeable? Where are the effects of alcohol most notable? On the body.
Long.
Where did I just read? This part right here. Right there. What does it say? Caleb, where are alcohol
Yes.
effects most noticeable on the body?
No, mister. I know.
Samuel, where?
Lungs.
No, that was smoking. But alcohol. Right here. Look right here.
Alcohol.
Alcohol's effects on the what?
Most noticeable, even small amounts of alcohol impair a person's judgment, attention, memory, and self-control.
In the brain. So it's most noticeable on the brain. So it causes him to act silly, angry, or depressed. Larger amounts of alcohol affect muscle control, speech, and coordination. Someone who has had too much alcohol cannot even walk a straight line or talk clearly. Have you guys ever been in downtown Yoro and seen a drunk guy walking? You've never seen? I've seen it. They can't walk straight. They can barely talk.
Ah, yes.
Due to loss of
Yes.
coordination, an intoxicated person has difficulty performing ordinary tasks such as driving, walking, and cycling, making him danger to himself and to others. The Bible warns about the danger of addictiveness of alcohol, noting that the loss of self-control caused by this drug can lead to further sin. So who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at thy wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. So basically what it's saying is that even if you're going through all these problems, don't look to alcohol. Alcohol's not going to fix it because you're just going to make mistakes. So alcohol's effects on the body often lead to deadly diseases. Alcohol consumption
Oh my God.
is very dangerous to the liver.
What's that?
This is a liver. This is one of your organs. So this is what happens when you drink too much alcohol. You could die from this.
I know.
The liver helps clean your system, and so if it no longer is able to do that, then this is what happens.
It's horrible.
Me trypophobia.
Heavy drinking will eventually scar the liver and destroy it. Scarring is called cirrhosis. So let's say cirrhosis of the liver. This drug also affects other body organs because the liver breaks down alcohol and acetaldehyde, a toxic chemical that slowly damages the brain and poisons the heart and muscles. Alcohol consumption is also related to heart disease, cancer, and birth defects in children whose mothers drink. If someone drinks too much alcohol at one time or drinks it too quickly, the alcohol will rupture his brain's blood vessels, causing death. Now we're going to go to inhalants. In most recent decades, many people have become worried about the increased use of drugs called inhalants, especially among young people. Inhalants are drugs that are breathed in through the nose or mouth as a vapor. They often have strong odors caused by the high concentrations of chemicals. Most inhalants are common household chemicals found in solvents or aerosol sprays. Gasolines, glue, spray paints, paint thinners, and fingernail polish remover are all commonly abused inhalants. Okay, have you ever been into a room that was just painted, freshly painted, and it kind of makes you get a little dizzy? That's because it has a chemical in it. That's what inhalants do. It's about the same thing. The effects of inhalants vary, but often resemble the depressant effects of alcohol, resulting in slurred speech, vomiting, lack of coordination, and hallucinations. Inhalants are most commonly abused by young teens because many inhalants are household chemicals. Users may believe that inhalant abuse is safer than using illegal drugs. The truth is that inhalants can be even more dangerous than drugs like cocaine. The concentrated chemical vapor is absorbed directly into the bloodstream through the nasal passages, causing damage to the central nervous system. Repeated use of inhalants often result in brain damage and organ failure. Inhalant abuse can cause the heart rhythm to change or cause the heart to stop beating, potentially resulting in death even in first-time users. So, you need to make the right decisions. Illegal drugs, alcohol, and tobacco can harm not only you, but also others that you may or may not know. The best way to avoid the pain and shame that comes with any of these drugs is to avoid the first one. The first drink, the first smoke, the first drug injection, the first drug at all costs. There's no point to it. You must make your own choice about whether you alcohol and tobacco and whether you avoid those who abuse them and want you to use them too. Not only that you can stand drugs, alcohol, or tobacco in your own strength. Ask God to avoid them. Gain wisdom and guidance from others, including your parents. Keep reading your Bible and praying for direction. God has great plans for you, willing and willing to help you avoid that would ruin your life. Remember, greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. That's 1 John 4:4. So we have our section review right there. But this last part, what he's trying to say is that just because you say, "Oh, I'm not going to do it," that doesn't mean you're not going to have the temptation or the opportunity not going to present itself. The older you get, I think the opportunities are going to grow more, especially maybe with alcohol. Maybe you know people who drink, yeah, and they'll say, "Just try a little bit." The best way to avoid dealing with these issues is just to not do it in the first place. You know, there's nothing to gain from it. You'll end up losing more than you'll gain. I promise you that. Okay? All right, this is the section review that you're going to do. We're gonna move forward to the next part, which is go back real fast. Here we go. All right, we're gonna talk about safety and first aid. Basically, this is kind of a health class right now. So the safety and first aid, and which means make sure you're being safe and doing things the correct way, and then taking care of if something happens, what to do. So safety and first aid. It is important to be prepared for emergencies before they happen, not only by knowing basic first aid procedures, but also by taking proper precautions. Although some injuries cannot be avoided, such as those due to natural disasters, most accidents can be prevented. Being safety conscious involves knowing and practicing good safety habits and cultivating proper attitudes. Disobedience, overconfidence, impatience, and carelessness can cause needless accidents that result in injury and destruction to property. You can limit injuries by being aware of the causes of accidents and knowledgeable basic first aid. Okay? So fall prevention. Unintentional falls are the second highest cause of accidental deaths worldwide. Although falls are more common among the elderly, children and teens are also at risk. There are several ways to prevent injuries from falls. One way, let's go to the next page. Where is it at? Here we go. Is to keep floors and stairs free from clutter. Toys, sports equipment, and clothes left on the floor are all possible tripping hazards. So you want to make sure they're not on the floor, especially by stairs or something like that. Water and other liquids can cause slippery surfaces. To prevent falls, wipe up spills from the floor promptly and use a small rug or floor mat in your bathtub and inside exterior doors to dry wet feet or shoes. When I was working at the hospital, I had to wear certain types of shoes to prevent me from falling, called non-slip shoes. Each year, thousands of people are seriously injured in falls from ladders. Most falls from ladders can be prevented with proper care. Inspect ladders for broken or cracked rungs and be certain that the ladder is fully open and resting on a level surface before climbing. Also, be certain that the ladder is high enough without having to stand on the top step. Never try to reposition a ladder while still on it. It is much safer to get off the ladder before moving it. So make sure you don't move it.
Oh my God.
Okay. Electrical safety. Electricity is an essential part of our daily lives. However, electricity must be used responsibly. The human body conducts electricity well, and direct contact with an electrical current can be deadly. Because electricity and water can be dangerous, together be sure that electrical outlets, cords, and appliances stay away from water. Dry your hands before using electrical equipment or electrical appliances such as hair dryers and curling irons, where they cannot be accidentally knocked into a bathtub or sink. If the appliance falls into water, plug it before touching it. Use caution with electrical cords. Before using an appliance, check cords for exposed wire and replace the cord if it is damaged. Do not wrap the cord around a warm appliance such as an iron or hair straightener, as this could cause damage to the cord. You just want to make sure you're being safe with that, okay? Extension cords are convenient. However, you should be aware that plugging too many appliances into one extension cord or outlet can cause overheating and fire, okay? We're running out of time. We have about 20 more minutes in this class. I'm not sure if we'll be able to finish on time.
Yes, we got 22 minutes.
22 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
Your next class is, we have lunch at noon, right? Yeah, we have lunch at noon.
Yes, at 12.
All right, so I'm just gonna highlight each section now. That way you guys can go through it. We have and burn safety. So a lot of fire, how to deal with fires and what happens if it's burnt. For example, electricity, fire is helpful when controlled. And so you wanna make sure that fire doesn't break out in the first place. So you just wanna make sure you're being wise about it. For example, if you're using the stove, you don't wanna set things that can cause fire, especially with grease. A lot of grease that happened to me one time where I was cooking with grease and I made a fire because I wasn't paying attention. All right?
Okay.
So,
Okay, very well, very well, very well.
this is kind of what happened with me. So what you do is you never want to toss direct water on it.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Water, it makes it bigger, okay?
That's gonna be.
Caleb, can you stop making noise? What are you doing?
Nothing.
Always catch on
Pay
fire.
attention.
Stop, drop, and roll. So you want to make sure that you do what you can to get that fire out, okay? Smoke detectors help us a lot. So you want to make sure there's smoke detectors in your house just in case there is a fire, okay? Let's move on. Poison prevention. Poison prevention talks about more for, yes, Joseph.
In my house here, we have like rules when an accident happens, like earthquakes or fires or things like that. We have rules to do step by step, like be calm and evacuate the house in case of fire, or when the smoke cover all, we gotta put I don't know to explain you. Like the piece of clothes that you use to sleep.
Yeah.
Wet it, put it in water, and put it like that, and get out. That's all.
That's good. That's a plan. That's what a lot of people and a lot of schools will do. This part right here is poison prevention. It talks about cleaning supplies. For example, a lot of cleaning supplies are poisonous. Like you never want to inhale or ingest bleach. Bleach can kill you. Or any of the supplies. We have power tool safety here, which also talks about saws, drills, and stuff like that. You want to make sure you know how to use it before you use it. You don't want to use something that you're not familiar with because you can get hurt. Okay? We're talking about first aid. First aid is very huge. So say someone passes out and they need emergency medical care. You want to make sure you can help them before
Breathing.
someone who knows what to do comes. And so first aid is something good to know. For example, like CPR and stuff like that. But they have a plan called the ABCs for checking a victim. What you want to do is you want to check
Circulation.
the airway. Is there something stuck in their airway where they can't breathe? Are they breathing? And then their circulation, which is the pulse. You want to check that. The steps for that is to keep calm and call for help and check the seam. One thing that I took a first aid class that they told us is we want to be careful that we're not running into a situation that can cause more damage to us. For example, if you see gas and stuff going off when someone falls, that person might die. So you don't want to run in because you might die as well if you come in contact with that, okay? So you just kind of want to be wise about it. So when you read this section, make sure you pay attention to how to help someone in case they need help. Muscle injuries, I'm sure you guys are experiencing muscle soreness because you've been running, you're growing.
Muscle injuries, muscle soreness,
You want to be careful.
and
What happened?
Read this section so you know what it's like. And you know what happens with muscle injuries and what happens with strains and stuff like that, and how to handle them correctly and what to do if that happens. I know a lot of you guys like to play sports such as soccer, so this would be good to know what happens when you have a sprain or strain and what to do, when to go to the doctor, or when you could just kind of self-apply your medical treatment. This is what happens when you get fractures. A lot of this time, you probably won't have to deal with fractures or dislocations, breaking a bone. You probably go to the hospital. And so, yeah, you wanna know what it looks like, when to go to the hospital, and what's going on. It'd be good to know. For example, I broke my leg. I had a fracture in my leg, so you can see what is happening when you have a fracture, what to do. A lot of doctors have different terms like an abrasion, a puncture, laceration, or a contusion. Contusion is another name for a bruise. It's very simple. But this is what the doctors, how would they describe the types of injuries? For example, if you got stabbed, it'd be a puncture wound. If you got sliced open, it would be a laceration. Or if you got dragged in the dirt, it would be an abrasion. Or if you just got hit really hard, it's contusion. So you want to know about that, what to do, how to treat wounds. For example, you can treat it by yourself, or you need to go to the doctor. Okay? Showing you how to apply a pressure bandage. So say someone has a cut, you want to learn how to apply a pressure bandage to make sure the cut doesn't get worse or anything like that. Choking. Choking is another big one. Pay attention to this because this is something might happen with one of the little kids. One of the teachers doesn't see them by accident. You want to make sure that you can help the younger student when we go back to classes, or if you know someone who's choking, what to do. This is a very good and important thing to know. So make sure you pay attention to the choking section. Poison, what happens if someone just poisoned or something like that? You're going to want to call it
Whoa.
Okay. Next is burns. We're talking about different types. This is what to do if someone is choking, which is very good. Make sure you pay attention to this to show you what to do in case you're choking. Second degree burns, or first degree burns, and third degree burns.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Awesome. This is a first degree burn. A lot of you have probably experienced that, or second degree burn. I've had a second degree burn. I've never had a third degree burn. That looks gross, doesn't it?
Oh my god, that looks horrible.
If you get a third degree
Yes.
burn, you're going to the hospital for
I
sure.
don't like that.
I worked at the hospital, and what had happened was they had a section called the burn unit, and there's a lot of people who had this all over their face, all over their body. It was gross. It was hard to look at, okay? And I think now we are at our section review, okay? And third degree burns is that last one we talked about. Okay, let's review the section review.
Mr. Naranjo.
Yeah.
We can put only the answers.
Sure, I'll let you put the answers. So, what safety precautions should you take before moving a dropped electrical appliance from water? Remember, we were learning about electrical safety there. Why should you never put water on a grease fire? We learned about the fires there, so that's another one you want to pay attention to because that might happen at the house. List 3 ways to prevent accidental poisoning. So look in the section about poisoning and the chemicals to find the answer to that one. What is the difference between a strain and a sprain? We learned about the muscle injuries. That's where that's going to be. Describe when and how a pressure bandage should be applied. We saw that image of that pressure bandage. Make sure you're looking for that. And what first aid steps should you perform if you suspect someone has been poisoned? That poison section about 2 pages back. And then burn damages the subcutaneous layer. So those are the 3 types of burns: first, second, and third degree burn. Okay. Very simple. All you're doing is just looking for these answers. Caleb, Diosa, and Samuel, I'm going to be sending you copies of the book.
Okay.
We can use it
It
there.
said when I make the Africans just right now fast. The Africans that are dancing.
Oh my gosh, Justin.
Yeah, that's nice.
You should be in class.
This man is a cool drawing.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
No.
No questions at all?
No,
No.
No.
You sure?
nothing. Nothing.